Right now this morning, early voting starts today. Coming up, what you need to know before you hit the polls. And from youth programs to senior fitness, find out how you can make a difference in our community on this Why Giving Day.
Plus, a 30% chance of sprinkles to a light shower working through our forecast. I'll have more about that for your quick cast in just a moment.
Streaming live now on News8000.com. You're watching WKBT La Crosse. This is News 8 Now, this morning.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us for News 8 Now this morning. I'm Alexandra Carter.
And I'm Art Jarrett.
It is Tuesday, October 22nd. Yesterday definitely did not feel like October. Did it?
I know. It's like the never-ending summer.
I know. Yeah, some people are liking it. It did feel great yesterday, but today is different.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit wet, and of course, tomorrow a little bit different as well, where it's going to be much cooler and breezy and gusty. Hey, let's get into it right now. Cloudy conditions holding on currently to mostly cloudy skies. We're going to be in and out of the cloud cover today. Winds coming out of the south, and we have some rainfall potential out there. Right now, you really can't see it because it's dark outside, but you can see right here, though, the radar showing you just west of the Mississippi, picking up a little bit of light rainfall there to a sprinkle. Get a little bit closer to La Crosse and heading closer to French Island, picking up maybe a little light rainfall. And the town of Dodge also picked up at least a 1/100th of an inch already here, 1/100th of an inch. You can see again over the next several hours, we're looking at dry conditions, but again, we have at least until 11 o'clock for this to happen for us. It'll get closer to us as we get into 8 o'clock and the 9 o'clock hour. Eventually, though, it's going to come back again at 8 o'clock at night, and we may even see that between 7 and 8 o'clock. Temperatures right now widespread in the 50s, some 40s mixed in there. When I come back, I'll have you a better look and show you who's getting the rainfall, where it's going to be, and how long it's going to last. Stick around.
Wisconsin early voting starts today. La Crosse voters have options when it comes to casting your ballot early. Unlike Election Day, where you have to vote at your assigned precinct, early voters can cast their ballot at any designated location within the city. Today, you can do that at City Hall from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. or at the MOVE Cultural and Community Agency from 9 a.m. till 2. If you can't make it today, 3 additional polling locations will open tomorrow. Early voting continues through Friday, November 1st. Bring your photo ID. In Eau Claire, a drive-through voting center opens today at City Hall from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. The site also offers voter registration services. Drivers should enter from Wisconsin Street off Farwell Street. Dewey Street will be down to one-way during drive-through voting hours. More than 120 Wisconsin schools have referendums on the ballot this fall. That includes West Salem, which is asking voters to consider 2 separate measures. News 8 Now's Allison Ferget explains.
West Salem voters will have the option to approve a $3.5 million recurring operational referendum and a $28 million capital improvement referendum. School officials say both referendums are important to the district's future. After surveying West Salem families on community needs, the district is asking for support on 2 referenda, totaling more than $31 million.
The board feels strongly about continuing West Salem to be an excellent district. Having that money to support those programs is going to allow us to continue.
The operational referendum is designed to maintain current district programs.
Obviously, with the inflationary costs that we all have, those same costs affect us here within the school district.
The district successfully passed an operational referendum in 2022, but that funding will end next year, and the needs aren't going away. This time, the district is asking for a recurring referendum, so they don't have to go back to the voters.
The recurring means that, obviously that the $3.5 million that we're asking will go on, as long as we need that.
Reber says the school board will be able to increase the tax levy up to that $3.5 million level, but they don't have to keep it at that level every year. Ultimately, he says the operational referendum is important to maintain programs for students and retain staff.
We want to make sure that our community and our students get the highest possible education they can possibly get, and we feel that our teachers are the ones that provide that for them.
The goal to provide the highest possible education is also the motivation behind the $28 million capital referendum. The project includes creating more gym space at the elementary school and building a new career and technical education center at the high school.
We know that not every student goes on to a four-year college, and we want to make sure that we're providing college, career, and life-ready opportunities for all of our students.
The district says if the operational referendum passes, property taxes would stay the same. But if the capital referendum passes, taxes would increase $110 per $100,000 of property value. Although residents could see a tax increase, Reber is confident the two questions will pass.
I think, our community supports our school district. They've supported what we've done.
Now, the referendums are not dependent on each other, which means you can vote for one and vote against the other. But ultimately, school district officials say voting for both would be the best for students. Reporting in West Salem, Allison Fergit, News 8 Now.
Referenda are a common occurrence statewide. According to Viroqua Superintendent, 192 districts have asked 241 questions in just the last 12 months. The Harris-Walz campaign getting some star power in Madison today. Former President Barack Obama will join Democratic Vice Presidential hopeful Tim Walz in the capital city with 2 days to go till Election Day. This follows Walz's stops in Eau Claire and Green Bay last week. Details on the time and location will be announced later today. 3rd District Congressman Derek Van Orden brought his re-election campaign to La Crosse business leaders yesterday. Speaking at a Chamber of Commerce forum at the Capella Performing Arts Center, Van Orden reviewed his legislative record and stressed the district's importance in next month's election.
So I want our hardworking men and women of the 3rd Congressional District to get out and vote. We've got same-day voter registration. Do it right now.
Rebecca Cook will participate in her portion of the forum tomorrow. Meanwhile, both presidential candidates are hitting the pavement in key battleground states as polls show a very tight race in the final stretch. CBS's Jared Hill has more from the campaign trail.
You can vote your conscience and not ever have to say a word to anybody.
Former Republican Congresswoman Liz Cheney appealing to Republican women voters for Democratic presidential nominee Vice President Kamala Harris, taking the sobering message through battlegrounds Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Michigan with the VP Monday.
The vast majority of us have so much more in common than what separates us.
The two are trying to sway voters who went for Nikki Haley in the primaries, some even after she left the race.
I do believe Donald Trump to be an unserious man, but the consequences of him ever being in the White House again are brutally serious.
If you wouldn't hire somebody to babysit your kids, you shouldn't make that guy the president of the United States.
And I'm proud. Trump in North Carolina leveled a new baseless attack against Harris, claiming she'd target religious groups if elected.
Christians will not be safe with Kamala Harris as President of the United States.
The former president also repeated false claims about FEMA disaster relief funds after visiting Asheville, a community devastated by Hurricane Helene.
They spent their money on illegal migrants. They spent their money. They didn't have any money left for North Carolina.
Today, Trump courts Latino voters in Florida before heading back to North Carolina for a rally. Harris is off the campaign trail, but her media blitz continues.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken is visiting areas of the Middle East this week. Today, he'll be in Israel. The State Department says Blinken hopes the death of Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar will prompt Israel and Hamas to negotiate. Many analysts say it could be difficult for Hamas to negotiate during the transition, and there's no guarantee a new leader would even want peace. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says nothing would deter his country's fight against Hamas and vowing to push forward until the end. Law enforcement took center stage in day 3 of the Adam Fravel murder trial yesterday. Investigators detailing evidence from last April's search of the Fravel home, including clothing, electronics, a laptop found in a dumpster, and a device discovered in a burn pit. Under cross-examination, defense attorneys questioned investigators about those items and a phone connected to Madeline Kingsbury's van. The trial will resume today. The suspect in a Sparta homicide made an appearance in Monroe County Court. 39-year-old Andrew Noman is charged with first-degree intentional homicide in the death of 35-year-old Takara Manning. Sparta police found Manning with life-threatening injuries at an Oak Street home on October 6th. She later died at the hospital. Noman now being held on $1 million cash bond. He'll be back in court November 8th. The planned closure of Bliss Road now being postponed till next week. Work will now run from next Monday, October 28th through Friday, that's November 1st. Drivers can still access the bluff from County Road F. All lanes will be affected, no detour will be posted. The time now is 6:09. Still to come on your morning news. A Federal Trade Commission rule just banned fake online reviews. Starbucks is collaborating with Wicked by adding some new drinks. And Kansas machinists will return to work this week after accepting a new contract. We'll have those details for you. Halloween spending is down so far, but will spooky sales change those numbers? Coming up, more on Halloween spending and where shoppers are looking for savings. And for now, we're sending you to break with something to put the good in your morning. A species thought to be extinct has resurfaced in Southeast Asia's Mekong River. The giant salmon carp, nicknamed the Mekong Ghost, hadn't been seen in nearly 20 years. Cambodian fishermen spotted the legendary fish in 2020, catching two that measured 3 feet long. While these weighed about 12 pounds, the species can grow to more than 60 pounds. Look how big that is, just at 12 pounds. Though many Mekong fish face extinction, the ghost's return offers a glimmer of hope for environmentalists. And as you start to wake up this morning, leaving you now with a quick wake-up call with the city that has the 3rd largest library system in the world and the 2nd largest in the nation. That is New York City. Bit of a hazy morning there. Stay with us. Your consumer news is coming up.
When you see Stacey Klein, think 1849. She supports the 1849 law that would ban abortion. No exceptions for rape, incest, or to save the mother. Don't let Klein take us back to 1849.
I've been with U.S. Cellular for 27 years. They've always taken care of me. But when they asked me to talk to you about their special customer event, Us Days, I said, I gotta get in shape. So they sent me this Hollywood trainer. Oh, this guy's no joke. Us Days means exclusive deals just for us customers.
Now let's try burpees. Us Days is back at U.S. Cellular. Current customers get $1,200 off any phone, plus $400 off any tablet.
Racist and offensive. Ryan Hipsch's social media history tells us who he really is. In one post, Hipsch said that he wanted a hat with the N-word embroidered on it. In another, Hipsch aims a rifle and comments that he can't wait to kill Muslims using a slur. Then wrote, LOL, that was racist. And that's just the beginning. Hipsch's social media posts are full of degrading terms for women and people with disabilities. Tell Ryan Hipsch that his agenda is too extreme for the Cooley region.
We all know what Eric Hovde's trying to do. Falsely attacking Tammy Baldwin by questioning her personal life. And Eric Hovde's trying to scare you. The truth is, no sex change surgeries take place on minors in Wisconsin. 0. And Baldwin didn't give funding to a transgender clinic. It's actually a youth homeless shelter. Eric Hovde's a billionaire banker who thinks he can lie about anything. But Wisconsin's better than Eric Hovde.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
A flood of illegals, skyrocketing prices, global chaos, and Kamala wouldn't change a thing.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Nothing will change with Kamala. More weakness, more war, more welfare for illegals, and even more taxes. Only President Trump cut middle-class taxes, and only President Trump will do it again.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
I'm Rebecca Cook, and like most folks in Wisconsin, I'm somewhere in the middle.
Oh, please. Don't be fooled by Rebecca Cook. She made her living trying to elect Democrat extremists. Cook proudly supported radicals who want to defund police, end cash bail, and throw open the border. No wonder extremists like AOC are spending big bucks to elect liberals like Cook. Rebecca Cook, just another liberal trying to fool you. Congressional Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Quartz takes a different approach to health insurance. We know every life well lived is a journey, and we're here to light the way at every step. That's why for 40 years, we've been alongside the doctors and hospitals who know what their communities need. Because they're a part of them. Because we're a part of them. There's a fire burning in all of us. Let's ignite it together. Quartz. Find your spark.
When you see Stacy Klein, think 1849. She supports the 1849 law that would ban abortion. No exceptions for rape, incest, or to save the mother. Don't let Klein take us back to 1849.
Well, good morning to you. Taking a look here at Eau Claire, the temperatures are going to be in the 50s once we get through sunrise and continue on through the mid-morning hours and late morning hours. Temperatures will also show about 67 degrees with a little extra sunshine coming and going today. We'll get into La Crosse. We'll do the same with mostly cloudy skies, then cloudy conditions, picking up temperatures from upper 50s to the low to middle 60s for you, and then still holding on to that cloud cover going into the, the afternoon hours. How about this, though? Temperatures are, let's just say winds right now are light, just between 5 and 10 miles per hour. Not much in the way of fog just yet because we have that circulation moving over us, stirring up the cloud cover and of course the surface. 55 degrees for kids going to school today. You might want to give them an umbrella just in case to keep it handy as you get into it. Maybe a light shower to a light sprinkle working through the area, and then heading home they're looking at 73 degrees. 56 degrees for La Crosse, though. We'll see showers potentially as we go right into the early morning hours between 7 and at least 9 o'clock. We'll also hold on to 3 o'clock coming in the afternoon, partly to mostly cloudy skies with temperatures around 73 degrees for you. Other locations will follow suit. Hey, we're looking at today with widespread 70s, but as you get into it, you see that rainfall sneaking in around the 9 o'clock hour. So you see between 7, 8, and 9, you're seeing that rainfall hold on, getting out of the way eventually by the 11 o'clock hour, breaking down and heading out of the area, and that's how it all plays out. Today, we'll get at least widespread 70s for you. It'll be warm, mostly to partly cloudy skies, maybe even cloudy at times, and we're also going to be seeing tomorrow much cooler for your local forecast. Back to you.
In your consumer news this morning, the Biden administration is taking steps to make online reviews more reliable. A Federal Trade Commission rule that bans fake online reviews and testimonials took effect this week. The new regulation allows the FTC to penalize companies that violate that. Reviews and testimonials from AI and people who don't exist, people who don't have any experience with the service or product, and those who misrepresent their experience are all now banned. And Starbucks is inviting Wicked fans to fly in for a taste of Oz with its wonderful new creations. Those are pretty. Today, the coffee chain is launching 2 cold drinks, Elphabuz Cold Brew with green matcha foam and Glinda's Pink Potion. That one is a coconut milk dragon fruit drink. The company is also releasing a line of drink cups. Here they are for fans of the Broadway musical turned movie who are ready to defy gravity. Kansas machinists will return to work this week after accepting a new contract from Textron Aviation. Union members voted Sunday to end their month-long strike, though negotiators say some workers had hoped for more concessions. The machinists head back to the production line tomorrow. And the countdown to Halloween now entering single digits. Can you believe that? You have to add a lot more zeros to get to how much money people plan to spend on the holiday this year. The National Retail Federation estimates Halloween shoppers will spend a combined $11.6 billion before October 31st. Emily Schmidt breaks down the spending for us.
This is the time of year where fall is big, like more than 2,500 pounds of pumpkin big. Yet this year, it's also big to downsize.
We see consumers willing to invest in these events, but also looking for ways to be smart with their budget.
The National Retail Federation's annual survey predicts that shoppers may spend around $104 per person, down $4.62 from 2023's record high. So overall spending might be lower, though still billions more than just a decade ago.
But it's certainly one that captures consumers' attention and focus and generates a lot of excitement around this time of year.
Retailers say nearly 72% of Americans plan to celebrate Halloween, spending the most on candy. An estimated 67% hand that out. Decorations, a fast-growing category, and costumes.
$5. And on Amazon, the same ones that I was looking at are $13.
The National Retail Federation says 12% of shoppers, especially younger consumers, look for costumes at thrift or secondhand stores. Of course, even before the spookiest Halloween screams fade, winter holidays begin. The NRF predicts retail sales growing around 2.5% to 3.5%.
That could put total retail sales for the last 2 months of this year at a record $989 billion.
That's 85 times the amount predicted for Halloween, suggesting the year's retail treats are still ahead.
Another consumer heads up, don't be surprised if you see a little less chocolate in this year's trick-or-treat bags. Cocoa prices are at record highs as they've more than doubled since just the start of the year due to bad weather in West Africa. That's it for your morning consumer news. Time now is 6:19. Let's check in with News 8 meteorologist Art Jarrett for a look at our forecast.
All right, what we're going to have today, holding on to our local forecast. I'm going to get this out of the way and just kind of move this over for you as I take it out. We're going to be looking at the possibility of drier conditions for Eau Claire, and this is going to stay here because this computer just froze on me. But we're going to get into the 8 o'clock hour. You're going to be looking at more of this rainfall popping back into the picture here, possibly between 7 and 8 o'clock, and then eventually it tracks back over to areas right by Wausau as well as Ladysmith, and that's where most of the rainfall will be as we go deeper into the evening hours after the morning or the evening commute. You're going to be seeing that rainfall in the forecast there. However, I'm going to bring it over here. Just pretend we're looking at La Crosse right here. We're going to hold on to possibilities of the morning rainfall getting into at least 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and 9 o'clock this morning. And that's the possibility of a sprinkle to a light shower working through your forecast today. And then eventually, by the time we get into the 11 o'clock hour, that rainfall skedaddles out to the east and up and out it goes. We dry out all the way in through the afternoon. And then by the time we get into the evening hours, clouds will come back and respond. We're looking at mostly cloudy to cloudy skies again, holding on to the potential for rainfall to come in around the 7 o'clock hour, coming in for the second round from the northwest. That'll move right back over into areas by Minneapolis as well as Eau Claire, and eventually kind of sneaking into the areas by Winona, possibly getting a little bit closer and then getting out of the area again, well up to the north of I-94, and then getting out of the area again for at least about, say, we'll call it about 4 o'clock in the morning, possibility of bringing some of that rainfall into Wausau and then getting out of the area. And that's a look at your forecast. Back to you.
Time now is 6:21. Still ahead on your morning news. A concerning drop in childhood vaccinations may be behind a surge in preventable diseases. Measles cases now reported in 30 states, and whooping cough numbers have jumped 5-fold in just 1 year. See what doctors say is driving this trend next.
Coming up in sports, the Badgers prepare for number 3 Penn State. Plus, hear from Packers coach Matt LaFleur on what he says about his defensive unit. All of that coming up in the Morning Blitz.
From cozy breakfast nooks to formal dining areas, Ashley has versatile dining options that fit any space and style, starting at just $499.99. And receive a $250 mattress credit with the purchase of any 6-piece bedroom set. Only at Ashley. Shop more deals in-store and online.
At Taco John's, we believe a better Taco Tuesday starts with better tacos. That means using 100% North American beef, cooking shells in-house daily, and a deal that makes you say, how are these only $1.29? Taco Tuesday is every Tuesday at Taco John's.
He's supposed to serve Wisconsin, but Derek Van Orden doesn't care about making our lives better. Van Orden wants to repeal the law that stops insurance companies from denying coverage if you have a pre-existing health condition. He'd make Wisconsinites pay just to give huge tax cuts to corporations and the wealthy. Van Orden even sides with extremists who tried to cut Social Security. Wisconsin deserves better, and Derek Van Orden does not belong in Congress.
HMP is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Let's talk about Rebecca Cook. She's a political operative. She's worked for defund the police radicals across this country.
Cook spent millions getting Mandela Barnes elected, the most anti-law enforcement candidate in Wisconsin's history.
You remember Barnes, the guy who said reducing prison populations was sexy?
Defund the police radicals make it harder for us to keep you safe.
That's why we can't support Rebecca Cook, because she'll never support us.
I'm Derek Van Orden, and I approve this message.
With Chevy trucks, be ready for adventure. With power you can count on. Capability that doesn't compromise. A hard-working EV with more range than any competitor. And the potential to take you anywhere.
Get 0% financing plus make no monthly payments for 90 days on all 2024 Silverado 1500 pickups.
Or get $5,750 total value on this Silverado. Visit HometownChevy.com.
With Tammy Baldwin, we've gotten extreme policies that are hurting our families. Baldwin voted to let boys compete in girls' sports, and she co-sponsored a bill to force women to share locker rooms with biological men. Worse, Baldwin's bill would force domestic violence shelters to admit biological men. even though survivors say it would cause significant trauma for women in those shelters. Tammy Baldwin has endangered Wisconsin families. Fix Washington PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Looking for a better night's sleep? Ashley Sleep offers 3 different mattress lines for everybody, from soft, cloud-like comfort to firm next-level support. Or wake up on the bright side of the bed with a Nectar mattress starting at $7.99. Now available at Ashley. Shop more deals in-store and online.
Welcome to the Morning Blitz. Over the last 3 weeks, the Wisconsin Badgers have outscored their opponents 117-16. This is the Wisconsin football team that I'm sure many Badger fans were hoping to see when they brought in Luke Fickell to coach. But if Wisconsin really wants to take things to another level, then they're going to have to start beating some of the Big Ten powerhouses. And they've got a big opportunity to do just that this weekend. Wisconsin welcomes in third-ranked Penn State for a night game at Camp Randall Stadium, but according to Fickell, those things aren't important. It's just another game and another chance for his team to go out and compete.
This is a big game because we've had an opportunity to make it a big game, and the way that our guys have played the last few weeks make it a bigger game. Nothing else matters. You know, we talked about it last week of payback and redemption and the way we had played last year, and you talk about those things, but like I say, once that ball's kicked off, none of that matters.
How about a quick recap from the weekend's NFL action? With under 2 minutes to play, the Texans kick a go-ahead field goal. Green Bay would get the ball back with 1:44 to play, down by 1. And that was plenty of time for Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love to drive down the field. And then with just 3 seconds on the clock, they would call on their new kicker, Brandon McManus, to win the game, and the vet would come through. Green Bay improves to 5-2 on the season, and they'll look to make a trip down to Florida up against the Jacksonville team that has struggled to start the year. Packers open as 5.5-point favorites, in large part because of the way their defense has been playing, giving up just 12 second-half points over the last 3 games. And Coach LaFleur loves what he's seen from his defensive unit.
He had 2 drives start on the 11-yard line, another drive start on like the 45-yard line. There's just a lot of short fields in there, and to be able to hold somebody to 22 points with considering all those circumstances, I thought he was deserving of the game ball. For the most part, our defense played as well as they've had all season long.
Jacksonville is coming off of back-to-back games in London, and despite a 2-5 record, they've scored more than 30 points in 2 of their last 3 games. So the Green Bay defense can't fall asleep. We'll have more on this one throughout the week. That'll do it for the Blitz. We'll see you tonight.
Chart your career with a fabricator position at Chart Industries. Starting wage up to $30 per hour with no experience necessary. Excellent pay and awesome benefits. Apply now at jobs.chartindustries.com.
My husband and I were elated to find out that we would be having another baby. But after many tests, my doctors agreed that we had to terminate the pregnancy. It was the worst day of my life. You should know that Eric Hubge supports laws that stop me and my doctor from making that decision. And that's a ban with no exceptions in cases of rape or incest. It's a ban that could turn doctors into criminals. He opposes abortion, period.
Win Senate is responsible for the content of this ad.
Hi, I'm Danielle, General Manager here at the Board Store. In 1989, when I first saw my dad on the TV talking about high quality and low prices, I wasn't quite sure how I felt. But now, 35 years later, with this exceptional showroom, high quality products, knowledgeable staff, and the best installation crews in the area, I couldn't be more proud. And we look forward to continuing to serve all your home improvement needs for many more years to come. Come see us at the Board Store.
Politics these days stinks. Too much hot air, and you know what else. But I'm no stranger to putting in a hard day's work and getting the job done. I have a history of bipartisan accomplishments. It's a hard job, but I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty. I can reach across the aisle and pass good bills just as easily as I can walk across the barnyard with my shovel. So whether it's doing chores on the farm or passing bills in Madison, I'm Steve Doyle, and I'm ready to get back to work for you.
As a working mom, I'm feeling the pain of inflation. Everything costs more these days because of Biden and Kamala's wasteful spending. And while we pay more, they're giving away our hard-earned money to illegal immigrants. Tammy Baldwin is just as bad. Baldwin voted to give amnesty and taxpayer benefits to illegal immigrants. She even gave them government stimulus checks and free health care. We can't afford Tammy Baldwin and her handouts to illegal immigrants.
I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message.
When I was 5, I began getting sexually abused by my stepfather, and he got me pregnant when I was 12. "64,000 pregnancies from rape have occurred in states with total abortion bans. And Trump did this. Women and girls need to have choices. With Kamala Harris, we do."
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Liberal Rebecca Cook. She's cooked up quite a story about herself. The truth? Cook is a slick political operative who pocketed almost $200,000 electing Democrat extremists. Cook supported radicals pushing open borders, defunding police, and ending cash bail. No wonder New York radical AOC is spending big money to elect phonies like Cook. Rebecca Cook. A liberal recipe for disaster. Strategic Majority PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Chart your career with a fabricator position at Chart Industries. Starting wage up to $30 per hour with no experience necessary. Excellent pay and awesome benefits. Apply now at jobs.chartindustries.com.
Call Hupy and Abraham. They really do mean business.
Thank you for watching News 8 Now. Expect more.
In your morning medical news, new research shows hundreds more infants died than expected in the U.S. in the year and a half after the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. The new data suggests the impacts of abortion bans and restrictions enacted by some states after the decision have been large enough to affect broader trends. In the months that infant mortality was higher than expected, rates were about 7% higher than typical, averaging to about 247 more infant deaths in each of those months. A Maryland hospital went on a disaster alert after 46 people became sick with food poisoning. All of the patients were taken to the hospital in non-critical condition. The Howard County Health Department believes all of the people consumed the same food from a local seafood distributor. Despite recent outbreaks of infectious and preventable diseases like measles and whooping cough, fewer kindergartners are getting their routine vaccinations when compared to pre-pandemic times. That's according to a new report from the CDC. Mandy Gaither takes a look at the data and has more on the potential implications of the decline.
It's an alarming trend. During the 2023-24 school year, national kindergarten coverage with state-required vaccinations dropped to 93%, down from 95% between the 2019-2020 school year before the COVID-19 pandemic.
It's enlightening and not surprising with what we've been through in the last 4 years.
Dr. Jason Newland with Nationwide Children's Hospital says many infectious and preventable diseases aren't as prevalent anymore thanks to routine vaccines, but some are making a comeback. For example, this year alone, a total of 269 measles cases have been reported in more than 30 U.S. states as of October 17th. The CDC says 88% of those patients were either unvaccinated or their vaccination status is unknown.
Measles can be extremely dangerous, leading to life-threatening illnesses.
The CDC says vaccination is also the best defense against pertussis, but preliminary data shows more than 5 times as many cases have been reported at this time of year when compared to the same time last year.
Maintaining our vaccine rates, whether it's measles, whether it's pertussis, whether it's influenza, whether it's COVID, will make our society and our most vulnerable healthy and our future healthy.
The CDC report also says the vaccine exemption rate increased from the year before as well. A vaccine exemption is a way to avoid certain vaccines for medical, religious, or personal reasons. A local business teamed up with the Salvation Army for a food drive. Train Technologies partnered with the nonprofit for a Stuff the Truck event, where they gathered non-perishable food items and hygiene products for the unhoused community. More than 60 residents stay at the Salvation Army. Items from the food drive will help support their meal programs.
Community supports its community. So the great thing about the La Crosse area is we have many folks that are interested in helping out one another. Having a public-facing community drive, partnering with an organization, collecting and then dispersing just makes sense for everyone.
He also said people in need of some extra food can reach out to the Salvation Army. The following story is about a man who is an inspiration for us to never give up. In spite of an accident causing him to be blind, an Iowa man continued to fulfill a dream he's had since he was a child. Libby Randall has his story.
March 7th, 2022, Sean Weiss was working on a car engine when one of the worst case scenarios happened. It exploded.
My boss and myself suffered major injuries.
Weiss lost his vision from that accident and 75% of his ability to use his left arm. An experience like that might lead some to give up on their passion. It actually inspired him to keep moving forward with his.
It's all I've ever wanted to do since I was 6. This has been my lifelong goal to actually work on cars. I love everything about cars.
And he did just that with the help of his college instructors and classmates. While learning from them, they also learned from him.
The delivery methods I would use in the classroom, if I'm trying to explain something that I have up on the board, then I do something a little bit different with that with Sean.
As Weiss continues on with his passion for auto technology, he hopes others can take away one simple thing from hearing about his story.
Whatever your goal is in life, don't stop trying to achieve it.
The time now is 6:35. Let's check back in with News 8 meteorologist Art Jarrett to tell us what to expect on our Tuesday morning commute.
All right, good morning to you. As you're starting out with the kiddos, taking them to the school bus, you want to give them an umbrella just in case. You don't see the rainfall on there, but we have a 30% chance of rainfall this morning, and it continues on all the way through the into the 11 o'clock hour, by the way. You're going to be seeing the potential for 57 degrees in La Crosse, holding on to areas right by about 9 o'clock or so. We're going to hold on all the way up into areas right by Eau Claire, holding on to at least similar conditions with, again, temperatures holding on to these 50s and the 60s and eventually warming up as we go into the day with widespread 70s. You're looking at current dew points out there. It's still a bit dry, but we're holding on to 39 to at least 40, low 40s for your dew points. In fact, not much has changed over the last couple of hours. Eau Claire, you're looking at, again, increasing clouds gradually into the daytime, holding on to at least 55 to about 67 degrees, where La Crosse is showing at least 57 with sunshine, then becoming mostly cloudy to cloudy skies to finish out the morning hours. Observed winds are at least 5 to 10 miles per hour. Visibility is not an issue right now as far as fog is concerned. You're going to see the kids 55 degrees for areas right by Eau Claire, then getting into 56 degrees this morning. Of course, both locations have potential for showers into the forecast. As we go right back into it, there's a look at the rainfall continuing on. We'll leave it right there for you, as you can see, through 6 o'clock, possibly all the way into 7 to 9 p.m. or a.m., excuse me.
Before we head to break, it's time to look at today's Look Who's 8.
All right, Carter is turning 8 months, and he loves to spend time with his sister and play with his friends at daycare.
And Lola is turning 8. She loves to go horseback riding, dancing, and make art.
How about Waylon? Waylon's turning 8. He also loves to play video games, ride his dirt bike, and spend time with his family.
And Harper is turning 8. She loves to spend time with her friends and family, and she likes to spend time outdoors as well.
How about Cassidy? She's turning 18 years old today. She loves to spend time outdoors and spend time with her friends and family.
And Addie is also turning 18. She loves to play softball and travel.
All right, if you know a special someone turning 8 weeks, 8 months, 8 years, or 18, 80, or 88 years old, we'd love to feature them soon.
That's right. Just upload their photo to our website, news8000.com, and look for the Submit Pictures button underneath the Home tab. Still ahead, basketball hoops, swim teams, and helping cancer survivors. Learn how the YMCA is changing lives and how you can be part of it today on Y Giving Day.
When you see Stacy Klein, think 1849. She supports the 1849 law that would ban abortion. No exceptions for rape, incest, or to save the mother. Don't let Klein take us back to 1849.
My husband and I were elated to find out that we would be having another baby. But after many tests, my doctors agreed that we had to terminate the pregnancy. It was the worst day of my life. You should know that Eric Hubge supports laws that stop me and my doctor from making that decision. And that's a ban with no exceptions in cases of rape or incest. It's a ban that could turn doctors into criminals. He opposes abortion, period.
Win Senate is responsible for the content of this ad.
Get an 11% rebate on your bathroom remodel now at Menards. Create your dream bathroom with Sterling tubs and showers. They'll fit your style and budget and are easy to clean. Get this ensemble shower for only $669.99 after rebate. Check out our great selection of over 100 Magic Woods vanities. These high-quality vanities add a unique style and functional storage. This Haverhill vanity is $328.99 after 11% rebate.
Save big money at Menards.
I'm Rebecca Cook, and like most folks in Wisconsin, I'm somewhere in the middle.
Oh, please. Don't be fooled by Rebecca Cook. She made her living trying to elect Democrat extremists. Cook proudly supported radicals who want to defund police, end cash bail, and throw open the border. No wonder extremists like AOC are spending big bucks to elect liberals like Cook. Rebecca Cook, just another liberal trying to fool you. Congressional Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
To everyone who craves a fresh meal, come have a taste of Wisconsin.
America's Dairyland, as in real dairy.
It gives Culver's fresh frozen custard its famous rich and creamy flavor.
Like really rich.
So rich.
Rich and creamy.
And our cook-to-order Butterburgers?
They're topped with, you guessed it, Wisconsin cheese.
But it's the smiles we put on your face
With every meal made just for you.
That really makes our hearts melt.
From Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
Let's talk about Rebecca Cook. She's a political operative. She's worked for defund the police radicals across this country.
Cook spent millions getting Mandela Barnes elected, the most anti-law enforcement candidate in Wisconsin's history.
You remember Barnes, the guy who said reducing prison populations was sexy?
Defund the police radicals make it harder for us to keep you safe.
That's why we can't support Rebecca Cook, because she'll never support us.
Derek Van Orden, and I approve this message.
With Tammy Baldwin, we've gotten extreme policies that are hurting our families. Baldwin voted to let boys compete in girls' sports, and she co-sponsored a bill to force women to share locker rooms with biological men. Worse, Baldwin's bill would force domestic violence shelters to admit biological men, even though survivors say it would cause significant trauma for women in those shelters. Tammy Baldwin has endangered Wisconsin families. Fix Washington PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
When you see Stacy Klein, think 1849. She supports the 1849 law that would ban abortion. No exceptions for rape, incest, or to save the mother. Don't let Klein take us back to 1849.
Well, good morning to you and welcome back here. We're going to see mostly cloudy skies today, maybe even some partly to at least cloudy skies. We're all over the place with cloud cover as this area of low pressure will move over us and start spinning across, swirling clouds throughout the day and into the evening hours as well. Possibility of sprinkles to a light shower. That'll go from the morning all the way to the PM hours. We're talking at least from now to at least about 11 o'clock this morning, and then we'll take a break going from noon all the way into at least about 5 or 6 o'clock. We'll pick up more of that rainfall starting to move up north of I-94, and then eventually maybe kind of get a little bit closer to Winona, possibly Eau Claire, and then eventually moving out of the way to Wausau, and up and out it goes. So that's what's happening today. Then tomorrow, gusty and breezy conditions. I should say just gusty conditions. We're going to see winds from 25 miles per hour working through the daytime, and then going right into cooler conditions where we're going to see a high of at least 58 degrees. That's pretty much seasonal for us, but yeah, it's still a bit cool after we've been in the 70s all day, right? Thursday, we're going to 50% chance of showers, so rainfall's on the way back, but this system's picked up a nice little line. Thunderstorm activity is now associated with that. Now it must have dusted up an outflow boundary of some sort, but now you're seeing a whole line, and that's working right toward us, getting into the forecast here. So we're out to keep an eye on that. We're also going to be seeing it getting closer to Preston as well as Decorah and Prairie du Chien. We'll get into at least the next few hours here. We're holding on to dry conditions right now, as you can see up in Eau Claire, but we're going to see this continue to move on. Some areas right by the town of Dodge picked up at least 1/100 of an inch or so, but eventually we're going to be seeing current temperatures widespread in the 50s. We'll slowly but surely warm you up through the morning hours, and then we have the 40s for the dew points right now, maybe some upper 30s, so it's associated with that to being very dry still, but it's going to change as this moisture starts to move in. We go through the 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock hour, it starts to congeal, right, all this moisture right in portions of, say, La Crosse all the way down to Decorah and Prairie du Chien, Boscobel, maybe even Eau Claire might get snipped with that as well. Going into at least the noon hour, they pick up a little little light sprinkle to at least a little bit of rainfall going to Marshfield, and then eventually this starts to kick out of the area. We'll take it into 4 o'clock and we're dry, but then we see right by the 7 o'clock hour, so say maybe 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock, and maybe 9 o'clock. Rainfall starts to hold on north of I-94, gets its way back up to Wausau. Seems that it wanted to come back down to Eau Claire, but it looks like that has broken down. We'll carry over to how this all plays out going into your forecast, holding on to conditions for the rain tracker. Not much there as far as moisture is concerned, just 1/100 of an inch or so, and then we'll go right back into playing into the rainfall, holding on to at least conditions to be like this. 73 today, 58 for tomorrow, 66 degrees for Thursday, going into Friday with 62 degrees. We're back into temperatures a little bit warmer than our seasonal averages, and then we'll continue that for the remainder of the week with more rainfall on the way.
All right, Art, thank you. Well, today is Why Giving Day, a 36-hour celebration of philanthropy supporting vital YMCA initiatives in our community. We're joined now by 2 Y officials to tell us more about how we can get involved. Good morning, ladies. Thank you for being here. So we know you raised just shy of $200,000 during last year's Why Giving Day. That is remarkable. What's the goal this year?
Yeah, so last year we had a goal of $140,000 to celebrate 140 years of the La Crosse area family Y being around. And we were just overwhelmed with the support of the community. So this year our goal is $200,000 and we are confident with, again, the amazing support of our community that we'll reach that goal.
Okay, awesome.
So what'd you do with those wonderful funds that you all grabbed there?
Yeah, so we have projects that are designated for Why Giving Day that we raise funds for. Year after year, we do some similar projects. So like last year, we raised money for our youth cancer survivorship program. We raised money for our youth programming scholarships, where 1 in 4 kiddos actually are on flexible pricing at the Y to be able to attend those programs. Our food access program. So those are all projects that we raised money for last year and we're raising for again this year. But then again, new this year, we do have 10 projects, but 2 of those projects are some improvements of the doll Child Watch and the doll gym. Those hoops, lots of generational dunking have been taking place, so we want some new hoops in that gym.
Yeah, there's always someone on the basketball court, right? So hunger is such a big issue. We know that the Y is on track to serve more than 200,000 meals and snacks to kids and families in our community this year. Tell us more about your fight with against food insecurity.
Yeah, so we just wrapped up our last fiscal year for our food program. We actually served 269,000 meals. And so we do that through a variety of ways. We have an after-school snack program at 15 of our school-age care sites. We also have a summer food program where we were out at 33 different sites and parks throughout the community. We expanded into rural communities last year, we were able to provide a week's worth of breakfast and lunch for kiddos. And then we also have outreach for the whole family. So we do a mobile market food pantry that currently we serve 423 individuals with a weekly food box. And then we also have Y on the Fly, which basically takes food and Y enrichment activities out into the community, really making sure that food is accessible to everyone, regardless of their basically transportation barriers to accessing food.
Okay, great. Such important work
there.
So
what do you need to do to participate?
Yeah, so we will be tabling at both Y locations, the Onalaska and the La Crosse location today and tomorrow, so you can stop by, drop off a gift there. Otherwise, we also have our gifts posted on social media, and then we'll be sending out some emails as well as our YMCA website. And 2 things to note, we do have participation matches and we also have dollar matches. So those matches are from very generous donors that we are super excited to help get us to that goal as well.
Okay, great. All right, so 36 hours. Any final words to get people to encourage to donate?
Just the Y is here for everybody. You know, we'll serve about 35,000 community members this year with membership and programming. And it's also a great day of awareness for some of our maybe lesser known programs. Check us out. If you are wanting to participate or get involved, we'd love to have you.
All right, well, thank you both so much for being here.
Thank you.
No problem. Stay with us. We're back right after this.
The pain level was over 10. There's days where I just sat and cried and asked the good Lord to take me. And my doctor recommended that I go to Good Feet and try the arch supports. And I took about 3-4 steps, turned around and went and sat back down and started to cry. It was the first time that I had no pain. I'm not an actor. I want people to know my testimony. I want them to know what Arch Support's going to do from Good Feet.
See for yourself with a free personalized Arch Support fitting at the Good Feet store.
We know we cannot have a strong middle class without American manufacturing. Under Donald Trump, America lost nearly 200,000 manufacturing jobs. His record is a disaster for working people. Under my plan, we will invest in the industries that built America, because ours is a fight for the future. I come from the middle class, and I will never forget where I come from.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, we've helped hunters gear up for the season for over 6 decades. So as you prep for this year's hunt, shop unbeatable deals on supplies to make your trip successful. Like 10 packs of Grabber hand warmers, just $5.99. These special buy men's neoprene boots, $59.99 while supplies last. Hit the road with a fresh Blaine's Gold automotive battery starting at $114.99. And stay warm with Easy Heat fuel pellets, just $4.99. Gear up for the hunt and save at Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
Politics these days stinks. Too much hot air, and you know what else. But I'm no stranger to putting in a hard day's work and getting the job done. I have a history of bipartisan accomplishments. It's a hard job, but I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty. I can reach across the aisle and pass good bills just as easily as I can walk across the barnyard with my shovel. So whether it's doing chores on the farm or passing bills in Madison, I'm Steve Doyle, and I'm ready to get back to work for you.
As a working mom, I'm feeling the pain of inflation. Everything costs more these days because of Biden and Kamala's wasteful spending. And while we pay more, they're giving away our hard-earned money to illegal immigrants. Tammy Baldwin is just as bad. Baldwin voted to give amnesty and taxpayer benefits to illegal immigrants. She even gave them government stimulus checks and free health care. We can't afford Tammy Baldwin and her handouts to illegal immigrants.
I'm Eric Kovney, and I approve this message.
Liberal Rebecca Cook. She's cooked up quite a story about herself. The truth? Cook is a slick political operative who pocketed almost 200 grand electing Democrat extremists. Cook supported radicals pushing open borders, defunding police, and ending cash bail. No wonder New York radical AOC is spending big money to elect phonies like Cook. Rebecca Cook. A liberal recipe for disaster. Strategic Majority PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Remembrance, recognition, honoring. Obituaries on News8000.com.
Welcome back at 6:52. Time for your morning news now. Law enforcement took center stage in day 3 of the Adam Fravel murder trial yesterday. Investigators detailed evidence from last April's search of the Fravel home, including clothing, electronics, a laptop found in a dumpster, and a device discovered in a burn pit. Under cross-examination, defense attorneys questioned investigators about those items and a phone connected to Madeline Kingsbury's van. The suspect in a Sparta homicide made an appearance in Monroe County Court. 39-year-old Andrew Noman is charged with first-degree intentional homicide in the death of 35-year-old Takara Manning. Sparta police found Manning with life-threatening injuries at an Oak Street home on October 6th. She later died at the hospital. Noman is now held on $1 million cash bond. The Israeli Air Force carried out several strikes in the suburbs of Beirut overnight. Israel says it's targeting a Hezbollah-run financial institution that uses customers' deposits to finance attacks on Israel. The strikes destroyed at least 15 bank branches late Sunday. Hezbollah has been returning fire, and the conflict has triggered another humanitarian crisis. Wisconsin early voting starts today, and La Crosse voters have some options this year. Unlike Election Day, where you must vote at your assigned precinct, early voters can cast their ballot at any designated location in the city. Today, you can do that at La Crosse City Hall from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. or at the Moog Cultural and Community Agency from 9 to 2. If you can't make it today, 3 additional polling locations will open tomorrow. Early voting continues through Friday, November 1st. Bring your photo ID. In Eau Claire, a drive-through voting center opens today at City Hall from 9 to 4. The site also offers voter registration there. Drivers should enter from Wisconsin Street off Barwell Street. Dewey Street will be down to one way during drive-through voting hours. Former President Trump holding a Latino roundtable near Miami before heading back to Battleground, North Carolina. He was there yesterday for several events. Vice President Harris hit the Battleground Blue Wall states of Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin with top anti-Trump Republican Liz Cheney. The former U.S. representative is endorsing Harris. The Harris Walz campaign is getting some star power in Madison today. Former President Barack Obama will join Democratic vice presidential hopeful Tim Walz. With just 2 weeks to go until Election Day, details of the visit have not yet been announced. 3rd District Congressman Derek Van Orden bringing his re-election campaign to La Crosse business leaders yesterday. Speaking at a Chamber of Commerce forum, Van Orden reviewed his legislative record and stressed the district's importance in next month's election.
So I want our hardworking men and women of the 3rd Congressional District to get out and vote. We've got same-day voter registration. Do it right now.
Rebecca Cook will participate in her portion of the forum tomorrow. Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren rallied UW La Crosse students for Kamala Harris, joined by Wisconsin's Tammy Baldwin. The senators urged students to vote early and spotlighted Harris's plans to lower costs for Wisconsin families and protect fundamental freedoms.
You vote and you go get someone else to vote and you make sure your cousins and your friends and even that cranky uncle gets out there and votes, then we know that our democracy will survive and we'll have Wisconsin to thank for that.
Warren's stop yesterday comes after her rally in Eau Claire Sunday.
All right, we have rainfall coming in from the south. It's heading towards Decorah, and it has a little thunderstorm activity with it as well. A little line is developed south of that, and that continues to track from south to the north area. In fact, when we get into it today, temperatures are going to be widespread in the 70s. Yeah, it's going to be much warmer again than our seasonal averages of 50s widespread. But we'll be in the 50s tomorrow. Sunshine again and breezy conditions will carry over on to Thursday with rainfall to be a 50% chance, and then more above seasonal average temperatures to finish your week.
All right, Art, thank you. Barbecue lovers, there will soon be a museum just for you. The world's first museum of barbecue scheduled to open next year in Kansas City, Missouri, a city, of course, known for great barbecue. It's founded by cookbook author Jonathan Bender. He says the museum will have interactive exhibits about the history of barbecue, exploring different sauces and meats by region. The museum is under construction and set to open next spring. Are there samples?
I know, right?
Hopefully.
Yeah,
Hopefully you get to eat while you're there.
Wow, I was like too busy drooling with looking at the barbecue.
I know, sounds pretty good right now. Thank you for starting your morning with us. We will see you back here at noon. Until then, enjoy your Tuesday.